Last week I discussed the feud between JBL and Shawn Michaels about who was going to get a match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Well, Shawn Michaels won the match this week against JBL, which means it's supposed to be his title shot. But, of course, Vicky Guerrero gets involved and says, Kozlov should have that title shot. So Kozlov came out to Raw after the match on Monday and pretty much beat up Shawn Michaels and left him laying in the ring. Although they're going to have a match next week, Vladimir Kozlov against Shawn Michaels. I guess the winner of that's going to go to WrestleMania to fight The Undertaker. Personally, I think Shawn Michaels is probably going to go over Kozlov, or they could somehow work it into some kind of a triple threat match, because you look at SmackDown tonight and Kozlov beat The Undertaker, so I'm not exactly sure what the hell is going on with this. Rumor is they want it to be Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania, which is fine, although I don't think Michaels should go over The Undertaker. If anyone's going to break his streak, it should not be Shawn Michaels, an already established, on his way out of the business talent. Definitely not. It should be somebody younger. But they could have a great match. They've had some great matches before. It's going to be interesting to see how Kozlov fits into this. A lot of people seem to be down on Kozlov, and I can understand where you're coming from on that. He's not the most charismatic guy. And believe me, I'm shocked that I'm not down on him. I kind of like him. I don't know what it is about him. But I like to see him involved in matches. I like to see him getting involved in the storylines. I think, if anything, he needs to learn to talk a little better before anybody's going to take him really seriously. But he's kind of like an old-school heel, and I guess maybe that calls to my my memories of the past, my nostalgia. It makes me think of the past, and maybe that's why I like him. But hopefully this will become something interesting. You got the match on Monday, Kozlov, Shawn Michaels. We'll see where it goes. Who knows if JBL's even going to get out of this. He might find a way to weasel himself back in some way after losing a match, because if JBL isn't involved in some way, then he's doing nothing at WrestleMania. So I'm going to be interesting to see where this goes. I would like to see Kozlov, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, JBL, like a Fatal 4-Way even. I think that would be a great match. So we'll see what happens. The Chris Jericho storyline against the Legends is still running strong. This past Monday, Ricky Steamboat got announced as being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think that's personally great. I think Steamboat was a tremendous talent. I used to like watching his matches when I was a kid. He came out. Jericho, of course, assaulted him and attacked him and brought Mickey Rourke up again. Mickey Rourke did not win the Oscar this past Sunday, so it'll be interesting to see his involvement at WrestleMania. Rumor is he's going to just be involved in the finish of the match. It's still yet to be determined who Jericho exactly is going to go up against at WrestleMania. They had thought it was going to be Rourke, and I guess that's still up in the air. They're not sure yet. Other rumors have been Hulk Hogan. Some people are saying, Ricky Steamboat will be involved. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm interested to see where it goes. I think Jericho is playing this really well. He's definitely bringing such an edge to his heel persona right now. I'm really liking where it's going. I don't know who they could put him up against that would be a big enough name to really draw, unless it's going to be Mickey Rourke. If you put Hulk Hogan in there, I could see doing that, but I don't know. Can Hogan really work a match against Jericho and actually make the match look good? The fans are going to pop for him if he shows up no matter what, but my concern is it's WrestleMania, and it's not going to be a 5-minute match. It would have to have some length to it, and I don't know if Hogan could keep up. So we'll have to see where the storyline goes. I'm liking it right now, though. I really am. I love the way Jericho is taking control and kind of smacking the Legends around, although I have to admit, I kind of wanted to see Ricky Steamboat fight back, but I guess that's not in the plans for right now. And I guess I should mention it. It's been a couple of weeks, but there was the whole incident with Jericho hitting a woman outside of one of the events. Fans gathered around his car. They wouldn't let him leave. He got out of his car, got into a shouting match with the guy, and then I guess the girl got into his face and he hit her. It's hard to see what exactly is going on in that video. WWE's not doing anything about it. Frankly, I don't think they should. If these fans don't understand that, wrestling is a work, then they're retarded. You shouldn't be getting in people's faces like that, especially Chris Jericho, who I think's a pretty good guy outside of the wrestling business. And so she took a shot. I haven't heard anything about a pending lawsuit or anything like that, so it's pretty obvious that she was in the wrong. Is it all right for him to hit a woman like that? Probably not. Might have wanted to exercise a little restraint, but don't fuck with these guys. They're professionals, and nobody's going to come to your job and scream at you about something you're doing and, expect you to take it. So don't be going up to a wrestler and screaming at them and assaulting them and expect them to take it. Turned into TNA, I'm going to look at two storylines really from there, and the first one's going to have to be Sting and Kurt Angle. I'm glad to finally see these two really getting at each other's throats, and I'm a fan of Sting, don't get me wrong. I loved Sting during the late 90s on Nitro, dropping down from the ceiling and clearing the ring of the NWO, but he's a little past his prime. I don't think he should be the champion of TNA. I could see him in TNA kind of popping out doing matches here and there, but not as the champion. I think Kurt Angle really probably would be the best heel champion they could have on the show right now, and I'm glad to see the feud going the way it's going. This past Thursday on Impact, you had Angle attack Jeff Jarrett while, because the Main Event Mafia was basically yelling at Jarrett saying, you're trying to get Sting to go against Angle so you can destroy the Main Event Mafia. Kevin Nash was the quote-unquote spokesperson for them. And then you had Angle attack Jeff Jarrett. Mick Foley runs out to stop it, and Angle gets him in the ankle lock, and Sting kind of comes out of nowhere and hits Angle with the bat and signs the contract for the match against Angle. I'm glad to see it going there. I'm really hoping at the upcoming pay-per-view that Sting is going to drop the title to Kurt Angle. I'm glad to see Sting kind of becoming a face again. He doesn't really work as a member of the Main Event Mafia. He doesn't fit in with that group. I don't know why he was put in there to begin with. But I really think Kurt Angle should win that match. Kurt Angle could have better feuds than Sting could. He's got more longevity in the ring. He's faster. He's just built better to be a champion, to carry a belt, to have these matches. Nothing against Sting. It's just, you're a little past your prime, and I'm sorry. I don't see you as the best champion right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Main Event Mafia, if they're going to split over this or what. I don't think they will. I guess they're going to end up backing Kurt Angle, and then you're going to have possibly a feud of Sting against the Main Event Mafia. In my opinion, he should fall. If he loses the title to Angle, he should end up going against somebody else in the Mafia and leave Angle open to take on some of the younger talent in TNA to defend the title against them. All in all, the storyline right now is a little flat. I'd like to see it get a little more heated before the pay-per-view, but I really hope to see Sting drop that title to Angle. You got AJ Styles right now feuding with Booker T and the Legends title, and I don't know, I feel like it's getting a little goofy. You had this week Booker T trying to get cops to arrest AJ Styles. I just thought it was stupid. And AJ ended up, of course, sneak attacking Booker again. I think there's a lot better talent for AJ to be working with in TNA right now than Booker T. And rumor behind the stage is that Booker T is becoming kind of a prima donna and doesn't want a job for anybody. So I can't say I understand the storyline one bit. If he were working for my company and he was being a prick, I wouldn't be putting him in any top storylines. I don't care who the hell he is. And I don't know, I'd like to see AJ Styles go against somebody else. I think there needs to be a young heel to join the Main Event Mafia. I know they're all like former champions and all that shit, but right now they're all kind of old minus Kurt Angle, and I guess Booker T isn't quote-unquote old, but I don't think he's performing as well as he could be either. I'd like to see AJ Styles against somebody else, but if this is what we're stuck with, this is what we're stuck with. I see AJ going over Booker T in this feud. Another feud I wanted to take a look at real quick was Scott Steiner and Samoa Joe. Now, I'm not that big on Samoa Joe just because of some of his performance for the past couple of months. He is a talented guy, and I think he could do some great stuff. I think it's more the creative team's fault that he's kind of getting stuck in these dumb storylines, and I think his feud right now with Steiner could have been made into something really great, but I have to say this past Thursday, seeing him hold a knife to Scott Steiner's throat was kind of stupid, in my opinion. It just felt a little cartoony and dumb. I'd like to see it developed into something a little more mature and intense, but I'll be interested to see where that goes. I definitely see Samoa Joe going over Scott Steiner in that match at the upcoming pay-per-view, but where are you going to go from there? He's going to beat Scott Steiner. Who else is he going to go against? TNA right now needs more top heels. It cannot just be the Main Event Mafia. They need younger guys to be heels. You need some younger guys to compete with the younger faces, and right now I don't think they have it, and I'm kind of really curious to see what's going to happen to TNA after this pay-per-view. But yeah, Samoa Joe, Scott Steiner could be an interesting match, could be good to watch, but right now, not liking too much how the storyline's being developed. I think it's making Samoa Joe look a little goofy, and that's by no fault of his own.